So today I'm going to show you how to make one of these cute little ornaments with the Stampin' Up! Fabrics. And I'm going to show you on the vintage style, but the candy cane Christmas one is pretty cute too. Here are the supplies you're going to need to make this project. You'll need some Deck the Halls fabric, cherry cobbler seam binding, always artichoke seam binding, very vanilla 3/8 inch taffeta ribbon, Victoria crochet trim, and you'll need a 3-inch styrofoam ball and a whole bunch of straight pins. Now the thing I left off of this is some rhinestone brads, and it's real helpful to have a thimble. So you start with a 3-inch styrofoam ball, and you cut 3 different fabrics into 2.5-inch squares. Actually, I made them 2 5/8 inch by 2 5/8 inch, just because the one I did with 2.5 came out a little skimpy. You need 16 of the outside color and the middle color, and you need 10 of the inside color. Now what I found made it a lot simpler was I went through and I folded all of them in half and just pressed that crease with an iron. But 2 of the squares for the inside you leave flat. And what you're going to do first is just pin those to the top and bottom of the styrofoam ball. So you'll need about 215 pins for each ornament, and a thimble will save the end of your finger. So you start by, as I said, by putting this plain square that's not folded on one end of your styrofoam ball, and then you do your best to get another one just opposite that. Now I'm not going to show you all 215 pins. I think we'd all fall asleep. Now these are just regular sewing pins with a flat head. You can't have them with a rounded head. So you want to make sure that the square on the other side of the ball matches up, looks pretty even with the first square. Then I'm going to take the squares that I folded, and I'm going to start by folding it in half and just pinching that corner. And that's just a marker of where I'm going to put my pin. Then I open it up and I put a pin just below the center fold, right along the line of that pinched fold I just made, so that when I place it in the styrofoam ball, it attaches without the pin showing. And you can see that I've just put it right in the center of that fabric square that's flat on the end of the ball. Then all I'm going to do is take and fold down the 2 corners like that and pin each of these corners like so. Now I love techniques that use these fabrics without needing a sewing machine. Okay, so that's the first triangle that you've put down. Now you turn it around and put your next one just opposite that. So again, I'm going to open this up. I'm sorry. I'm going to fold it and pinch the corner, open it up, and place my pin just below the creased line, right in the center. Then I'm going to put this pin right at the point of the other triangle, push it in, fold the sides down, and attach. Then the next two triangles are just going to fit in the area between these two. Okay, so this is what the top looks like when all four triangles are in place. Then what you do is you turn it over, and you want to make sure that you've got them opposite each other so that they line up pretty nicely and it looks even. So I'm just going to find the center on my other square here and add my first triangle and try to line up the fold with the fold on the other end. So then I just fold the corners down again like that. Put the pins in, and then I will continue to do that all the way around like I did on the other end. So then we're going to just do our second row, and I put the cherry cobbler pattern in the center because it breaks up the two always artichoke layers better. And so I'm going to use my finger as a measure for how far down I want to put the corner of my next row so that I can do it somewhat uniformly all the way around. So I just start where the fold is on one of the previous layer, fold them down, and of course pin them. So here I've got all four of the cherry cobbler pieces in place, and now we're going to do another layer of them. Come back here. So I'm going to turn to one of the points that doesn't have a cherry cobbler piece, measure with my finger, fold down the corners, and pin, and you can see how that's starting that nice star design. So here's what the cherry cobbler layer looks like with all 8 pieces applied. And I'm going to go ahead and add them to the other end, but not bore you with every step, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. So now you can see I've got 8 triangles on each end that I've pinned in, and so I'm going to start the very last layer, and again I'm going to measure a finger width down from the point and fold and pin, and then I'm going to do that 15 more times. The ornament with all but one of the triangles on it, and I'm just going to put the very last one in place. And then we can start adding what I call the gewgaws, all of the ribbons and the ruffles. So you can see that the edge here, where the two sides meet, is pretty rough. But that's okay. And you can also see that my lines don't exactly line up. And unless you're really looking at it close, what you see is one side and the decoration, and you don't really, at least I don't really notice the unevenness. So I'm going to